Good morning. This is Beyond the Horizon, and I'm your host, Brumby. Let's get right into it. This is episode 1 of Beyond the Horizon with Brumby, and I started this podcast because I feel and know I have valuable outlooks on life, and maybe not so much life, but the aspects of it, right? Whether it's mentality, physicality, love, friendship, relationships, I feel that I have valuable outlooks. And if they're not valuable, I would like them to become such. And I thought I could work that through with you guys. So throughout this podcast, not only is it for you, but it's for me as well. I want to improve my speaking skills, my thought process when speaking, you guys. Having everything be coherent when it comes out of my mouth. Improve my demeanor, the way I carry myself. So basically developing the traits my future CEO, wealthy, Porsche driving, Pilates mom self would have, okay? And on this podcast, no bullshit. I am not this all-knowing, disciplined beast, 5 a.m. wake up millionaire stock market genius, okay? But I sure as hell can try to be. I am simply a 21-year-old girl who has maybe like $200 to her name. I still live with grandma, and I have a shitty sleep schedule and a diet that consists of dino nuggets and poke bowls. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise though, dino nuggets are the shit. But with all of that, I can't stop thinking about becoming someone more. Something more, right? It is currently 6 a.m. and I know I said I'm not one of those 5 a.m. wake up girlies. I'm not, okay? But one reason I started this podcast is for it to be, in a way, an accountability partner, because I want to wake up early. I want to be one of those girls, right? But as of right now, I'm not good at that. So one reason I named this podcast Beyond the Horizon is so that I could wake up at the sunrise. And if you're watching the video version of this podcast, the sunrise is not even showing up on the camera, okay? It is beautiful, I swear, but it's not popping up. So maybe that aspect of it won't work the way I thought. But no matter what, I named the podcast Beyond the Horizon for multiple reasons. 1, to wake up at the sunrise. 2, because my nickname being Brumby, B-R-U-M-B-Y, is Australian slang for wild horse. And when I imagine wild horses, I imagine them running along the beach with sunrise, sunset, running along the horizon. And so that was another reason into naming it Beyond the Horizon for me. The last aspect is the beyond part. With this podcast, I want to go beyond the generic thinking, and I want to do that again with you. So welcome to my podcast. Let's get started. This first episode, I want to base off the idea of change. And I'll tell you right now, you will never change unless, and that's the part I want to talk about, is the unless aspect. All of us human beings change. Every single one of us. It's what we're supposed to do. It's what we're meant to do. And if someone gets on you and be like, oh, God, you've changed. You know that? Who are you? I don't even know this person. Well, we're supposed to. We're supposed to change, okay? And it's a funny thing. It depends on the person, but it's a funny thing because some people fear change and some people crave it. And it really is dependent on who you are. So there's different comfort zones of that change. There's different aspects of it. The fear of living within no change, you having that routine, having it set, blah, 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 not getting out of that comfort zone. It's very much a small bubble. And then there's the comfort zone of someone who can't stay in that bubble. They can't stay in a place too long. They want something new. They want something to come about. They want the next chapter. And it's a go, go, go aspect. So there's different comfort levels to change. And there's pros and cons to both. People who like change, you'll be all the better for it. Okay, well, to an extent. People who like change will always be learning. They'll always be developing, always thinking, always looking for the next thing, always having new lessons that come about, new events to learn from. And that's really great. But yet, it's probably, for the most part, I don't want to generalize, but for the most part, it's probably really hard for people who like change to slow down. It's probably very much, speaking as someone who likes change, it's very squirrel-like. scroll, like, blah, 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 I gotta get this, I wanna do this, blah, 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 and I wanna do this, to-do list, bucket list, blah, 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 all those things, you know? And it's like, honey, live in the present moment. I know it's hard to do that, but it's okay to be okay with where you're at. You don't always need the next step. You don't always need to go the next round to find the next chapter. It's okay to write this chapter out a little bit longer. It's something to be comfortable in, or to learn to be comfortable in, the idea of no change once in a while. You know, there's a balance that's good and healthy for you, but when you just can't stay consistent, that's another thing, is people who crave change and desire it, it can be very hard for them to stay consistent. And without that consistency, that will be your downfall. It will screw you over. And I could go into a whole aspect of consistency and a whole rant essay like, but honestly, that's a whole nother episode. Right now, we'll leave that be. But if you are constantly craving change and you can't be consistent, you will not be able to stick through with something long enough to have it be successful. You will not be able to stick through with something long enough to properly learn from that experience the way you're supposed to. And again, this may not be true for everybody, and I know it isn't, but it's a very vague generalization of it. So people who like change, slow down. It is okay to slow down. Still have that crave, still have that desire. Go you, okay? Love that. But take a moment and breathe and learn to live in the present and be okay with the present. Don't always be thinking about the next best thing, or the next place you want to travel, or the next place you want to randomly get up and move to, or the next tattoo you want to get, just because something is stagnant for too long. Don't go do impulsive decisions just for that serotonin boost of change, just because something was stagnant for too long. You need to be careful with that, because those impulsive decisions, that's what they are, impulsive. Think things through. Of course, get up and move to a random country. Do that once or twice in your life. I already have. I wish I did it more when I'm older, but I already did it, and I can be proud of that. But a part of me also wishes I slowed down and thought on that decision a bit more before I had gone. But yet I can't regret it. I learned from that lesson. I appreciate that lesson. And I wouldn't be the person I am today without that event in my life, without randomly getting up and moving to Australia, without randomly getting up and moving to Colorado. Like, they're canon events that most of us all have nowadays, at least in this generation, is the idea of, I say this generation, I forget that there's like, 2006ers or like 2009ers that like can speak. I'm a 2003. Okay, so I'm talking about Gen Z. I don't even know what the years of Gen Z are. 2006 is probably still Gen Z. 2009 might be too. But still, there's people born in like 2012. You guys can talk already. What is that? Okay, anyways, within this Gen Z generation, I feel like it's very, very common for us to just on to the next thing. Impulsive. Move to the country. Get a tattoo. Do this. Change my hair. Change my whole style. Change my aesthetic. Blah, 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 blah. Ooh. Is that not stressful? Sometimes. Like, does it not get stressful to not be able to stick to one lane once in a while? All of that can be very, very good. But all of that can be good in moderation. You know what I mean? All within a balance. So that's people who like change. Now let's talk about people who don't like change, who fear change. And it may not so much be, oh my goodness, can't speak. It may not be that they fear change, or at least not everybody, but just the idea that they don't crave it, that they're okay with how things are, or that they would prefer things not to change because they have that routine set. They have that little bubble set, and it works the way they want it to. But same with the people who like change, it is an all in moderation aspect. There is a balance to craving and desiring change, and there's a balance to fearing it and not desiring it. So people who don't like change, learn to like it. I'll tell you right now, it is one of those guarantees in life. You can't get around it. You better fucking learn how to like it, because you will be all the better for it. And I understand it's scary. I understand it's frustrating. I understand it's uncomfortable, but you need to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You need to learn to enjoy the aspect of being in that unknown, not knowing what's coming next, not knowing how to handle it, blah, 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 because that's a lesson for you. Not knowing how to handle something is a lesson for you to learn, to navigate, how to navigate those aspects, and gaining that life experience, and that will come in later on, all the better, right? But you have to be careful when you don't like change, because you can get stuck in this bubble. You can get stuck. I'm not saying you are, but you can get stuck in this bubble where your life and aspects of it become just stagnant. Just become stagnant, and I hate to say this, my dad used to say this, or does say this, but you can end up sitting in your own shitty diaper sometimes. Like, you don't want that. You don't want to sit in this negativity, and maybe it's not always negativity, maybe that's your positivity, but without getting out of your comfort zone once in a while and pushing yourself beyond that threshold, it can become negative because you'll know nothing else. So you don't want to sit in that shitty diaper all the time. You don't want it to be stagnant. You want movement. In moderation. I don't want to stress you out and be like, nope, change everything right now. No, please don't do that. Don't do that, okay. And that's another aspect I want to talk about. The idea of flipping a switch in your life. Just right then and there. You want to change everything in your life, right? I would have these moments in high school where I would get up at 3 a.m. and randomly have this motivation, switch my whole room around, get out my notebook, and decide how I want my life to be and how it was going to be that next day. I would decide that, you know what, I'm going to go back to sleep now. It is now 4 a.m. I'll get a 4-hour REM cycle, wake up at 8 a.m. and by 8 a.m. I will have my whole life changed around. I will be one of those morning routine girlies. I'll have the shit together. No. No, don't do that. It is so stressful, and that never ever works. Trying to change everything all at once and flip a switch in your life is not going to go the way you want it to. If you're looking for discipline and you're looking for real change within yourself, then you need to slow down. There's that aspect of slowing down again. You need to take a second and breathe in order to be consistent with that stuff, in order to not stress yourself out and overload or burn yourself out, and then you'll never be able to have real change. When I was 16, I came across this video on YouTube, and this is when it kind of flipped a switch for me. And I don't want to say completely flipped a switch, because it wasn't like it was overnight. It was more like a dimmer switch, okay? That dimmer was just slowly going up, but it started to flip my switch when I saw this YouTube video. And the YouTube video was called Habit Stacking. It's this idea that you don't want to change everything all at once. You can't just, flip it all around and do a backflip and then you're done. That's not the case. You need to go one thing at a time. It is the idea of being 1% better every day. 1% better every day is what leads to real change. It's not this 100% flip around. It's the idea that if you can write the list of the habits that your future dream self has, and then pick one thing, okay? Pick one thing. Don't stress your little bum out about it. And that one thing could be as small as brushing your teeth twice a day. And I know that seems so stupid, right? Like, everybody brushes their teeth twice a day. No, it can be hard to do that, you guys. Habits small like that can be hard, even especially as like a young teenager, and even in adults it can be hard when you're going through mental stuff. Speaking as someone who understands it, and you just, the moment you lay in bed, or if you're sitting on the couch or whatever, and having that energy sometimes to get up and do something simple as brushing your teeth, sometimes that energy is not there. And that is totally okay. But if that's one of those habits that you want to fix, just the basics, then pick a basic and stick to that. Just focus on that. Getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth, no matter what time it is. You get up at 2 p.m., brush your teeth. You go to bed at 2 a.m., brush your teeth. Okay? So keep the consistency with that and build that habit. Once you have that habit down, once you have that habit down, pick another one and stack on top. And you will continue habit stacking. And again, it's that 1% aspect that will lead to real change. You don't need to do this whole thing of, I will have a morning routine tomorrow, I will have all my meals prepped and ready, and I will now eat healthy starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow. I will have a nightly routine, blah, blah. It is, you don't need that. That is not how to do it. And I can tell you right now, speaking from experience, that is not the healthy way of doing it. Be okay with who you are now in this very present moment, but still want to get better, still want to take those steps, because that's, again, what will lead you up that mountain. It's not this all of a sudden you jump from the bottom to the top of the mountain. It's a whole climb, you guys. And you need to be okay with that steadiness. So like I said, there's this balance within change of being okay with change coming, but yet to slow down enough to be comfortable when there is no change, to be comfortable with the little stagnant steps. And one pro about people who don't like change, one pro about people who fear it, is they are consistent. They can be. I don't want to generalize, but they can be very consistent. And that's something that is amazing. Consistency, if you don't have consistency, again, that could be a whole nother episode here, but if you don't have consistency, like I said, will be your downfall. You won't be able to stick through with those habits. You won't be able to create healthy routines for yourself, and blah, blah, blah. Because people who fear change or don't like change, again, they'll be in this bubble, but within that bubble, they have their routine down. They have aspects of their life down, and it's not always in a healthy manner. A lot of times it's very unhealthy, but it's the idea that they do have that trait for consistency. Whether that consistency is good or bad, I can't tell you. Sometimes that consistency is the bad habits, waking up at 2 p.m., eating a terrible diet, always being on your phone, blah, blah, blah. And it's this gross hamster wheel that you're stuck in. But it's still consistency. You still have the potential for that, to flip it around and turn that consistency into good. So think about that. Also, side note, if you are just listening on the audio and you're not watching this podcast on the video aspect, you guys, the video is so pretty. The sun is coming up. I'm outside. Also, I'm in the pool right now. I don't know if you noticed, whether by sounds or obviously you can see in the video, but not only did I want you guys to have something aesthetically pleasing to look at in the video and to rise with, in the audio version, I wanted you guys to have aesthetically pleasing audio, like the water and everything. Oh my god, the water feels so good. Should I give you guys just a moment of ASMR relaxing? Oh my god, that's shit. Okay, but back to it. I, right now in my life, feel as though I just finally got out of this stage of being in limbo. It's okay to be in limbo for a while, just to not know what to do next, not know how to handle situations next, or even like create something to come about. Because as long as you're getting out there and trying things, so that's one thing, is I was in this bubble in my head, at least, about not knowing how to go about life, not knowing what the fuck to do. But yet I still wanted to get out, and I tried new things, whether it's making new friends, whether it's trying new restaurants and whatever else, and just like applying randomly for jobs that I didn't think I would ever get. But in my head, did I think any of that would come about and change? No. But I still put my body out there, at least, and my demeanor, my personality out there for others, that something did come about naturally. I just got accepted for a job with Porsche. Like, that's the new thing in my life, and I'm so incredibly excited. I just got Brumby Xoxo, my company here that you guys are watching the podcast on. I just got Brumby Xoxo up and running properly. I just got the proper motivation for it. I just got up at 6 a.m. this morning for this. What is that? Like, that's finally things coming and setting into place. And God, it took so damn long. First of all, it's kind of a fucking finally, but all that finally aspect is all dependent on me. And that finally aspect is finally showing up within me. I'm finally making it happen. And let me tell you, when you get that feeling, ambition. Once you get ambition, you can catch it like a fever. But making it go away is so much harder, which is a good thing, honestly. I think I just quoted that. Actually, that was not my deal. If you guys have read The Cruel Prince from Holly Black, I think she said that. I just read that last night. Okay, you can catch ambition like a fever, but getting it to go away is a whole nother story. And that, again, can be positive and bad. So just make it positive. Turn that ambition into motivation. Turn that ambition into that drive, that positive drive that can create something to come about within your life. What have you been not able to stop thinking about? What business idea, what job, what hobby, what person, blah, 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 what have you not been able to stop thinking about? And whatever that is, pinpoint it in your head right now. Go for it. Just stop sitting on your ass and go for it. And that seems so simple, but it's so much easier said than done when you have mental blocks and you have this idea of like, just start tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. Like, I just want to relax tonight. I just want to start tomorrow. Okay, well, now I'm in the point of real ambition, you guys, and I can't even relax. And I love it. I love it. Because I'm sitting upstairs. Let's give it last night as an example. I'm sitting upstairs at 10 p.m. watching anime, and I love watching anime. That's like my guilty pleasure, right? But I like anime. That's my guilty pleasure. And the fact that I'm watching it last night and I just couldn't get into it, not because it wasn't good, because of the simple fact that I could be doing something better. Because of the simple fact that my desk was 2 feet away from me and I could be sitting at that doing work instead. And it was 10 p.m. And it's not only that, it's that I had done Brumby Xoxo work throughout the whole day. From, I don't know, I was at that desk working on it for 10 hours yesterday. And yet I still wanted to do more. I'm in that aspect of ambition right now where I just don't want to stop. And that is so new and so refreshing. It's like a breath of fresh air to me that I just crave it more and more. And if you guys have that, and if you guys have an ounce of that possibility of that ambition coming to you, go for it. Because I trust you, or trust me, once you get that feeling, it is so hard for it to go away, and that's what you want. You want it to rack your brain. You want it to be poking at you at the late hours at night to get up and do something. Otherwise, no change is going to come about with it. No good change, at least. You will have that constant. You will continue sitting in that shitty diaper and you will have that stagnant because no good change is going to come out of it if you don't let the ambition take over. I am also at a point right now in my life that I am so okay with the parts in my life that aren't right yet. You know, it's gonna take time. Like I said, I'm living with Grandma. I'm living with Gammy, and I, as of right now, don't have a job. I mean, I do. I have my Porsche offer, but it doesn't start till the end of the month. So I still technically don't have a proper job. I'm working as a hostess right now on Saturdays. So there's these aspects of my life where I could be negative about. I could be, well, I'm not there yet. I don't have this. I don't have that. I've been 3 years out of high school and I'm living with my grandma and the other things I did failed and blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, okay? None of that has to be negative. Just think of, here's one example is like Gossip, well, not Gossip Girl, you guys, that was bad. Sex and the City, Carrie Bradshaw in the beginning, season 1 is 32. Friends, in the beginning, season 1 is like 28 or something. That's the age of the main characters in the beginning when they didn't have their shit together, when their life still was not there. You guys, we have so, if you're, no matter what point, no matter what age you are listening to this right now, doesn't matter. We still have so many seasons of our life left to go. And you want to make sure each and every one of those seasons is entertaining. And not entertaining in the way of like, woo, have fun, go to parties, drink it up. That's not what I mean. Is entertaining in the way that it encapsulates the viewer. And think of the viewer being yourself. Even though it's your life, those seasons, you're the viewer. You want yourself to feel encapsulated and happy with what you're watching. So even if that character doesn't have the apartment yet, the character doesn't have, you know, the love of their life yet, they haven't found that love interest, if that character doesn't do this yet, doesn't have their dream job yet, but yet they are still lovely to watch, they're so lovely to be around. So I'm in this idea, this aspect of my life right now, where I'm in a season and it feels like it's season 1, and it's not, okay? But I want to say that the good part of the show is now starting. This is season 1. This is where I want my story to start, is 2024, the way it's been going. I'm in this aspect of my life that even the negatives, or shouldn't say that, the aspects that could be negatives are just okay to me. It's not that they're positives, but I'm just okay with them. Living with grandma, I've been loving it. Yes, I am extremely privileged to be able to do so, but I adore living with her. It gives her company, it gives her someone to take care of, and it gives me the same. So as much as I could say, oh, I don't have an apartment yet, oh, I don't have this yet, I'm 21 years old and I haven't done anything, and I'm 3 years out of high school, I haven't even done college, shut up. Literally shut up, okay? Because those little negatives, in a way, just spin them around and make them positive. There's always a different viewpoint on something. So to be happy with those stagnants in your life right now, because a stagnant in my life is not having my own place. It's just, that's something that isn't going to change for a bit, and that's okay. It's going to be stagnant for a bit, and I need to be okay with that trait, with that aspect. So, and that's not only that, there's other aspects too. I am broke as shit right now, you guys. I am so broke. I don't even think I do have $200 to my name. I think I said that in the beginning. It might be $150 right now. But I'm okay. I just need to be responsible. I feel that responsibility coming in. I can feel myself making logical decisions now and not spending my money. And even though there's no money there to spend, even the little things of getting a Starbucks drink in the morning, getting this, getting that, I can feel that urge going away. And that is something that is so important, is not making those impulsive, like I said in the beginning, impulsive decisions, those impulsive purchases, whatever else, whatever it is. Because when you slow down, sorry, I'm getting further away from the mic. When you slow down, that's when your logical decisions are going to start coming in. That's when you actually start thinking things through. And I hate to say this, but I'm 21 years old, and I swear to God, my frontal lobe is developing right now. I know it's not supposed to happen until you're like 25. You guys, it's such a specific feeling to know that you are finally growing up. And it's so okay to grow up. It's not this idea and this aspect that once you grow up, that's it. You're not fun anymore. That's it. Your childhood is gone. That's it. The life of the party, done. Spark is out. That is not what that means. Growing up does not mean those things. Growing up simply means being fucking smart, okay? Take a second to think. That's it. Growing up just means thinking things through, making the right decisions. And it might not always be the right decision for everybody, but making those right decisions for you and knowing what is good for your heart. You can still be the life of the party. You can still go have fun. You can still have a personality. Growing up does not mean you have to get rid of those things. It just means you have to find a balance with those things and grow off of it. Oh, you guys, it's getting so cold. I can't even lie right now. So that's what I want you to take from this podcast is how can you develop those little things in your life right now? How can you develop those little things in your daily routine to start bringing change about, to start bringing consistency in and being okay with that stagnant? How can you find a balance between those comfort zones to start seeing real change? Like I said in the beginning, it's that 1% better every day that's gonna bring about that real change that you wanna see. And I know you've craved this change for so long, and you're either sitting in the comfort zone of no change at all and be like, I just can't go for that, blah, blah, blah. You're either sitting in that comfort zone, or you're changing too much and jumping around, whether it's business idea to business idea, and you can't stick to one thing, or you're jumping around to hobby, and all this stuff that you can't see real change because you're not consistent enough to see it through. So you need to find a balance between those two comfort zones and find what's best for you. Focus on one thing. Focus on two things. Those little things, build on it, habit stock on it. What can you take from this podcast? What can you think on? What can you write down and figure out what's something that's going to move you towards the next chapter, the next season in your life, where you can be comfortable with life, where it's not this constant ambition of wanting to change. And you should have that constant ambition, but sometimes it's the drive for it is much higher than other times. And that's okay too. It's not this constant, like, huge ambition you always have to have. No, it's just always have ambition, always want to go for more, but be okay with where you're at. And my last thing too is it doesn't have to be this huge, long journey in order to see that change. You guys, people change an incredible amount just within 6 months. I swear to God, every 6 months is like this little breaking point for me. I look back on who I was 6 months ago and I either cringe. No, I'll tell you right now, I cringe. It's not even, there's no debate on it. I cringe because the person me 6 months ago, I would never do what she was doing. I would never say what she was saying. And obviously I would because I did. But in my head, I've learned from that. I'm like, oh my God. Shut the fuck up. Like, don't do that shit. What are you doing? Think things through. And I just think back on that probably like 6 months from now. I'm going to be thinking back on that same thing on who I am now. And that's okay. It's not that I'm ashamed of who I was in the past. Of course, there's some things I'm ashamed of what I did. That's one of those guarantees in life. You can't get away from that. It's not no regret because I learned from it. But it is certain things where I'll think back and I'm like, that was not it. That was not it, okay? And I just want you to know that it's okay to completely flip your life around within 6 months. Don't do it overnight, you guys. Have that overnight aspect be within like the span of 6 months. Take your time. But also know it's going to come about really fast. Once you start, it doesn't stop. And once it does stop, it's just a little break. It's just a little break, because you're gonna get to the next point and you're gonna be like, oh, I wanna move on. I wanna try something new. We have a whole nother goal set in here. We have a whole nother tree to climb. So like I said, take from this podcast what you will. Find the balance within those comfort zones of change. Find what you want to change and pick and choose. Pick and choose and go down the line. Build yourself up slowly but surely, and that change will come about much faster than you expected. 6 months from now, 1 month from now, a year from now, 2 days from now, whatever that time frame is, no, doesn't matter. It's the fact that it's coming about in the first place. It's the fact that there will be change. You will see real outcomes come through. But it's not dependent on other people. It's not dependent on, oh, I just got to get out of this house. It's not dependent on where you live, your job. It's not dependent on that stuff. You can do this without changing those aspects of your life quite yet. Be comfortable with those aspects. Find the small changes within that so that you can be ready when that next chapter comes along. You can be ready when that next season comes along in your life. Sorry if my voice is like shivering. I'm getting so cold right now. But that's my point. Find what's best for you and go for it. Get off your ass and do something small. You need a small win, because if you go for it, you're not going to regret doing it. You're just going to regret not doing it. So get up. Get up. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. If you liked this podcast, this first episode of Beyond the Horizon with Brumby, either give me 5 stars, whether you're listening on Spotify, or thumbs it up, subscribe on my YouTube channel. You guys, if you want the video version, go to YouTube. If you want the audio version, go to Spotify. And leave a comment. Leave a comment on what are one of those habits that you want to work on. What's change that you want to come about. Let me know. If you guys have questions or want to reach out at all, you're welcome to follow me on Instagram at brumby.co. Again, it's brumby.co. DM me. I would love to hear from you guys. Oh my god, I'm shivering cold. Okay, I'm cutting you off. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you're at. I hope and pray for you guys. I hope you're doing amazing. You are doing amazing. I'll tell you that right now. The fact that you're listening to a podcast and want something new, you are doing amazing. Find that ambition, find that drive, and come back next week and we can talk about it. But anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for even listening in the first place, or clicking a link or whatever you found. But share for me, share that love. I want to grow a community with this, whether it's with the podcast, my social media, whatever it is. Go follow my Instagram, my TikTok, my YouTube. Oh my god, I can't even breathe right now. It's so fucking cold. But go find me so I can find other people and build that community. I appreciate you guys so much, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully I see you next week. Thanks again. This is Brumby signing off. Fuck yeah, bitch, I did it. Fuck yeah, bitch, I did it. Fuck yeah, bitch, I did it. Yummy.